Namaste. My name is Vani. I'm one of the partners in Acer Tax and Corporate Services LLP. Welcome to Acer Academy and to this course on financial independence for women. Historically, women were considered to play the role of supporting the family on non-financial matters. However, women through their small savings and holding on to the traditional investment methods such as gold jewelry, silver articles, etc., which help them in times of family exigencies. If we could recall, our grandmother, mother, or aunt would have some amount of money saved in their kitchen boxes. Whenever there is a demand from their husband or from the children, the money from these kitchen boxes would come out. So, this used to be the emergency fund of the family. After about a century of industrial revolution and with the advent of information technology that paved way for employment in a large scale, in 20th and 21st century, a considerable percentage of women found employment and regular income. With this cushion of assured regular income, women started thinking in terms of financial independence. While we are opening up to the information that is available and accessible to us, and financial independence is a desire, the knowledge and courage to explore these domains and enjoy the benefits has been very limited. Even in the present days, the working women still are not hands-on with respect to financial management. In many households, spouse or in-laws or siblings handle and assist the women while making financial decisions. For instance, though I have been working since last 2 decades, the only saving mechanism that I was aware of was investing in term deposit or fixed deposit and subscribing to some insurance policies or investing in real estate. So this itself used to be a very courageous decision. Only in the last 6 years or so, I have made some efforts to learn the other aspects of financial management, which would lead to financial independence. The fact that our money should work for itself was not known to me for good 2 decades. As my journey towards financial independence started much later in my life, the wealth creation also gets limited. In light of this, I urge the younger generation to equip themselves with adequate knowledge on financial investment. Hence, I request you to go through the course on financial independence for women, which gives you an overview of importance of financial independence and various investment avenues and the opportunities and mechanism. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Hi everyone. This is Deepak Rao from Acer Tax and Corporate Services. Welcome to Acer Academy and to this course on financial independence for women. In the previous slide, you have got a brief introduction of this course. In this slide, we shall go through the agenda or the content that we have for this course. Before we finalize the content, we sought inputs from women on matters of money, savings and investments. And these inputs gave us insights while finalizing the content and also helped us decide on the nature and type of investments that we would want to talk about in this course. We will briefly share those inputs with you. We shall also touch upon the importance of financial independence from a woman's perspective. Thereafter, we shall proceed to understand the basic concepts of finance such as time value of money, inflation, the power of compounding and risk profiles of investments. These are some of the basic concepts that every investor should be aware of, and these concepts shall be of immense use in investment decisions. We have kept it very brief with a couple of slides within a 15-20 minutes range, but these are very essential to understand. So in part first, we shall cover up to basic concepts of finance. In part 2, first we shall go through some of the compulsory things which you have to do for the financial safety of your life and to meet the emergency requirements. And then we shall get into a detailed discussion on investment planning and execution. Literally, there are hundreds and thousands of investments that are possible. We cannot cover all of that. Keeping that this course is designed with the beginner and intermediary investor in mind, we have picked up some 12 to 13 different set of investments that we will discuss about. The objective of this course is to pick the interest of women who have not invested time and effort to gather knowledge of investments, or those women who have made effort but not adequate effort. The purpose of this course is only to share knowledge, and this course is not a recommendation for any specific investment or for any specific channel of investments. Now let us go through the next part of the course.
In order to curate the course material and the content, we conducted a sample survey among the chosen women from all walks of life. Here is a gist of key inputs that we received from these women on money, savings and investments. As part of the survey, we had posed a couple of questions to the women who we met. The key questions are, the first one being, what does money mean to you? This question itself opens up to a broad spectrum of thoughts and emotions. Women said that they do not want to be at the mercy of others. They would like to build something and give something back to the community with the help of money that they earn, save and invest. And it would also help them uplift others. It would give them comfort, security, it would reduce their stress level, etc. etc. But the core of these answers is every woman who we met felt that money could give them the freedom and independence that they crave for. The second question was, do women assign a lower value to money compared to men? All the women who we spoke to said no. They all attribute equal value to money as much as men do. The third question was, do women think a man is responsible for savings and investments for the family? Some of them said, yes, the society, the patriarchal society may think that it's a man's responsibility, but most of the women felt that both are equally responsible. So the equality was the core of this discussion, where women felt that they are also equally responsible to take financial decisions, and hence it becomes the responsibility of both man and woman equally. However, at times for making wrong decisions, the man may take the blame, but the responsibility lies with both. From the first set of 3 questions, we understood that the money empowers women to feel their freedom and independence. And they also felt that they are equally responsible to make financial decisions like that of the man of the household. Now, the second set of questions, we put two questions to the women who we met. First being, who takes the investment decisions at home? The answer was always husband, the first answer, which majority of the women felt. The second answer was joint decisions after discussions, which is a small proportion. And the third one was very funny, where they said father-in-law has the first and the last say. So which means majority of the women in households, it was always the husband who used to take the final decision. And at times, rarely, there could be joint discussions, and post the discussion there could be a decision which is based on the discussion that they have had. And in some cases where even the relatives had the leeway to take their financial decision in their family. The second question that we posed to them is, would you invest on your own without consultation at home? The hesitant answer that we got from most of the women is yes, but conservatively. And some women said no, we'll always consult husband. So both the answers made us understand that the women did not have the confidence or the knowledge required to take the decisions. Hence, the independent decisions were taken only on the conservative issues, or they would always rely on their husband. The takeaway from the answers to the last 2 questions were, women did not feel confident to take financial decisions independently. Based on this feedback, We posed questions on awareness and knowledge on financial and investment matters. The first question was, have you spent time and effort gaining knowledge on investment? Most of them said they have spent very little time or effort to understand or gather information. Some of them did not focus because there was lack of interest, or the information itself felt like bouncers and hence it was intimidating. Some of them felt it involves a lot of mathematics, hence they have put reasonable efforts but that was not adequate enough. The second question was, are you aware of the power of compounding and inflation? For which most of them said no, they were not aware. A small percentage of women said they have basic knowledge but that is not good enough. So the next question was, what are your areas of investments? For this, many of the women said they have invested on gold jewelry, they've invested on fixed deposits. Some of them had invested on mutual fund or national savings certificate, etc. A very few women have ventured into stock market and some of the women have invested on real estate. The answers gathered from the survey made it clear that there is limited information and knowledge at their disposal, and hence to gauge their risk appetite we posed certain other questions to them. The questions being, are you risk averse? Are you afraid of losing money? For this question, most of them said yes, they are risk averse. They do not want to venture high risk investments, and even if they lose money, they are fine with losing very small amount. And some of them who have earned good enough money were not afraid to take some amount of risk through their investments. The second question was, are you okay for money to be handled by others? For this, most of them said no, absolutely not. A small percentage of women were fine with their spouse being a part of taking decisions and helping them with making investment decisions. With these two answers, we also wanted to understand the futuristic plan, that is, what is that they would want to teach their children. So we asked, are you responsible to teach financial management to your kids? For which all the women said yes, they would want to teach their children from a very young age. And 100% women said each woman should do, especially teach their daughters about the importance of financial management and investment mechanism.
You have heard the inputs from women on matters of money, savings and investments. Adding my own perspective into it, have summarized the importance of financial independence. Will not elaborate on each and every point as they are very obvious. Will largely read through it and touch upon it once. Goes without saying, it is a matter of personal freedom and security. Financial independence is a doorway to freedom and security. It also gives you self-respect, self-esteem and confidence in your life. The confidence in your life is substantially influenced by your financial independence. Prepares you to deal with emergencies and unforeseen events in our lives. We have all gone through this COVID period and the job loss period, and therefore financial planning is a must for you to take care of emergencies. Youngsters who are in 20 to 30 age bracket who can get into the financial independence journey much early in life can support their parents and reduce their financial burden. For those with family, goes without saying that it is a security for the family and it will help you to fulfill the educational needs of your children. Unless you plan well for the education of your children, you will not be able to meet their aspirations. It will give you knowledge to prepare your children and get them ready to face the challenges of life very early. Financial independence will also support you to enjoy other joys of life. It can be anything of your interest and choice. It can be buying a property, or you want to travel, or you are interested in a variety of gadgets. Whatever you want to do in life, if you plan financially well, you will be able to enjoy those joys of life. It will give you a very respectable old age. We have time and again seen many people not planning their finances well and suffering in the old age, losing all their money, or becoming dependent on someone else. If you want to avoid this, please start your financial planning for the old age when you are 40 or 50 years age, so that you can have a respectable old age. It will also equip you to help others. Let us get the potential to earn money, save money and invest money. We can keep the money whatever we may require for our use and use the rest of it to help others. These are the points that I thought was of importance in relation to financial independence. Now let us get into understanding the basic concepts of finance. In this part, we shall discuss the basic concepts of finance. We'll cover the time value of money and inflation together. Then we will go through the theory of power of compounding and also understand the concept through a detailed example on an Excel sheet. In the final piece, we will discuss the risk profile of investments. The first concept for discussion is on the time value of money and inflation. Money is a commodity. In everyday life, we may not equate money with other assets in the household. But money behaves exactly like other assets, and the value of money decreases or depreciates over a period of time. To give you an example, a car that you may buy today is a new car and a first-hand car. By tomorrow, it would have taken the color of a second-hand car, and say in 5 years, it would have lost most of its value. The reason for the decrease in the value of the car is because of two things. One is because of the usage of car. The second is because of the passage of time. Money also goes through the same process. So a 1 rupee in your hand tomorrow will be worth less than 1 rupee today. Let me connect this with an example. Most of you would have heard your parents and grandparents talking about how they used to get lots of goods by spending 50 paise or 1 rupee. But in today's time, there is no value for 50 paise or 1 rupee, and you can hardly buy a candy in the store. Why does this happen, that your grandparents were able to buy lots of stuff by spending 50 paise, but you can hardly buy a candy? This happens because, for a variety of economic reasons, the purchasing power of the money goes down with the passage of time. This decrease in the value of money leads to increase in the prices of goods and services, and this phenomenon is called as inflation. In India, we have mostly experienced inflation in the range of 4% to 12%, and as per the latest retail inflation data for January 2023, the inflation rate in India stands at 6.5%. Now what does this 6.5% mean? To give you another example to connect with it, 1 kg of rice, say which costed you 100 rupees today, will cost 106.5 rupees 1 year later. You will need to shell out an additional 6.5% to buy the same 1 kg of rice because of the inflation. Any regular inflation is manageable, but any runaway inflation can cause significant harm to the economy. You might have heard newspaper reports of the country of Venezuela, where the inflation rates hit thousands of percentage and they had to actually burn the money as most of the value had been lost. In the recent times, you have heard runaway inflations in the country of Sri Lanka and the country of Pakistan, because of which the economy is suffering. Now you may ask, how is this inflation and time value of money relevant to our discussion and to this course? In simple terms, inflation will eat into your savings and investments. There is only two ways to protect the savings. One is by increasing your earnings, and the second way is by increasing your returns. And in this course, we are concerned about increasing your returns. Any money that will sit idle in your account will lose value unless it earns enough interest to compensate or beat the inflation. To give you an example, if you have invested your money, say in a fixed deposit earning 6% interest, that shall become 4.5% return after applying the taxes. We saw that our current inflation rate is 6.5%. So if you earn a net FD interest of 4.5%, you will not be able to beat the inflation, and therefore you will become poorer and poorer. The knowledge of the concept of time value of money and inflation is relevant because you need to make investment in such a way that it can at least, the returns can at least be equal to the inflation, or it should earn you more than the inflation rate for you to sustain and grow. Hope you have had a fair understanding of time value of money and inflation. We will also apply these concepts as and when we go through our investment slides. Now we shall move into the next concept discussion, the power of compounding. The next concept for discussion is the power of compounding. First we will discuss the theory and then understand the concept through an example in Excel sheet. The term compounding under finance in simple terms means interest on interest. This effect of interest on interest magnifies the returns substantially over a period of time. The power of compounding, because of the enormous benefit it offers, is also called as the eighth wonder of the world. The power of compounding can be realized when you let the interest earned remain in the savings pool. When you leave the interest as it is, the next set of interest will be both on the principal and on the previous earning, triggering the compounding effect. On the face of it, this may not look like a rocket science, but interest on interest will have a snowballing effect and result in a big corpus of money. The second step you need to take care of is to ensure that you save and invest consistently for a longer period of time. In essence, to realize the power of compounding, you need to let the interest earn interest and invest regularly for a long period of time. To better the power of compounding, you will have to do certain additional things. One is to start your investments early in life. In the Excel example, we will see how starting your investments in your 20s and 30s have significant effect on your corpus. The second thing that you need to do is to be patient and disciplined with your investment and ensure that you invest every month or the period of your choice without fail. The third thing that you need to do is to invest the savings in a security that gives you fixed returns such as fixed deposit or government bonds and would carry nil or very low rate of risk. So in essence, if you are able to let interest earn interest, invest regularly, start early, be patient and invest in a fixed income security, you will be able to get the power of compounding and realize a big corpus of money for the investment period. We will better understand this concept through the Excel example in the next slide. Let us understand the power of compounding through a simple example in this Excel sheet. We have two people here, one is Ramu, the other one is Shamu. Both are working and are of 21 years of age. Ramu very early understands that it is critical to invest from a very young age. So he manages to save 1 lakh rupees per annum and invests it in a guaranteed return of 7%. 7% is also your usual FD rate and you can get your money invested at 7% anywhere. So at the end of the first year, he has a corpus of 1,07,000. He does not use the interest. He reinvests this and adds another 1 lakh at the end of the second year. So now his corpus is 2 lakh from his principal saving and 7,000 is the interest that he earned in the previous year. So the second year interest here will not only earn the interest on the principal, but it will also earn the interest on the first year interest. So this mechanism continues, he continues investing and he does this investment for a total period of 15 years. At the end of 15 years, he has built a corpus of 26.88 lakhs and he stops his investment at the end of 15 years. So he saved 1 lakh each for 15 years at 7% interest, does not utilize the interest, he reinvests it back, and by the end of 15 years when his corpus is 26.88 lakhs, he stops his investment. But he does not pull out the money, he doesn't invest further, but he continues to keep the money at the same interest rate, and this interest continues to accrue to him, and he does not touch this till he is 67 years of age. We have taken that age only to show that the longer period of investments will get you higher returns and builds a bigger corpus. So at the end of 67 years, when he takes his money out, he has a corpus of 2.34 crores with him, which is a substantial money that should take care of his retirement needs. Independently, if we just look at Ramu, what he did, he invested a total of 15 lakhs of amount, that to spread over a period of 15 years. So he just put 1 lakh each per year, and for 15 years, it is not a big burden on him. He stretched it over 15 years. He invested that amount, and just because he kept that amount without withdrawing and without withdrawing the interest, even at a meager saving of 1 lakh per year and at a reasonable interest rate of only 7%, he could build a significant corpus of 2.34 crores. This primarily happens because of the compounding effect of interest on interest and keeping the money intact for a long period of time. If generally somebody says that if you put 1 lakh for 15 years, you will be able to pull out a huge amount at the end of some 40 years, you will not usually believe it. It doesn't commonsensically look very big, but when you put those numbers in Excel and take the numbers out, you can actually see that the compounding effect can give you a substantial amount. Now this end corpus will differ based on what is your investments that you will do every year, what is the interest rate that you earn, and for how long you will invest. But in this very simple example of just 1 lakh per year for 15 years and with a 7%, you saw that a big corpus can be built. Now we will compare this to Shamu and understand why it is important to invest very early in life. While Ramu started investing at the age of 21 itself, Shamu did not invest very early. So he waited up to the time he was 30 years old, and then he started doing exactly what Ramu was doing. So he also saved 1 lakh per annum and invested it at 7% return, and he did not pull the interest out, he reinvested the interest. While Ramu invested only for 15 years, Shamu continued the investment. He continued the investment till he was 67 years old. So for next 38 years, he continued the investment of 1 lakh rupees each, and at the end of 67 years of age, his corpus had grown to a significant amount of 1.8 crores. Now individually, independently, if you see, 1.84 is a good amount of corpus that Shamu can utilize for his retirement. But when you compare Ramu and Shamu, see that Ramu has a almost 50 lakhs of incremental amount available with him compared to Shamu, though he has invested far less amount compared to Shamu. So Ramu invested only 15 lakh in the first years, whereas Shamu invested a total amount of 38 lakhs starting from the year 30 till he was 67 years. Though Shamu has made more than twice the investment of Ramu, still he has ended up with a corpus with lesser amount than Ramu, purely because Ramu started much earlier than Shamu. By the time Shamu started investment, Ramu had already accumulated almost 15 lakhs in his kitty, and that 15 lakhs started contributing and adding interest, and again in the subsequent period the interest accumulated more interest on that. To catch up to 15 lakhs of Ramu, Shamu had to wait till he was 40 years old, and only then there was a match. So Shamu lost significant number of years because he did not start the investments early. This comparison clearly provides that if you start investing early, even for a smaller period of time, even with a lesser investment, you can still end up with a significant change in corpus amount. Now you see only 50 lakhs of difference here because of a 7% interest rate. If I put a 10% interest rate, then the differential will be much more because Ramu's investment will earn that much interest at a faster rate. And if I change this period from 15 years to 10 years, then the proportion of difference may be different. So if I vary the number of years and the number of then the interest rate, then the gap will significantly differ. But the objective of showing this comparison is, if you get a head start by investing early, which you can advise your children to start investing early, then you can make substantial corpus due to the power of compounding. Hope you got a reasonable idea into what is the power of compounding, how it works. I would suggest that you put your own example, follow this concept, put your own example in an Excel sheet, vary the number of years, vary the interest rate, try out different combination, and you will get a very good hold of what is the ability of the power of compounding and how it can contribute to your life substantially even with small amount of savings. The third concept for discussion is on the risk profile of investments and diversification. Risk is inherent in investments. While theoretically we can talk about risk-free investments, all investments are exposed to some degree of risk. Therefore, to progress in your investment journey, you need to realize the stage of life in which you are and also your risk appetite. A person in his 20s and 30s can afford a much higher risk compared to a person in his 40s or 50s. Further, irrespective of your age, you should always be cautious about investments in high-risk instruments. Before investing in any financial instrument, it is critical to evaluate the risk and invest accordingly. The risk profile can be broadly classified into, first one is low risk. In low risk investments, your investment is protected, the interest is guaranteed, and the instruments are usually backed by a government or a regulatory authority. Some of the examples of low risk investments are fixed deposits and national savings certificate, which most of you would be aware of and making investments in. Government bonds you may not be aware, which we will discuss in greater detail in part 2. Medium risk investments are those risks where the principal and the returns earned can fluctuate, but the fluctuation happens over a period of time and therefore the risk is at a medium level. In these kind of investments, the investor, based on how his investment is moving, will have the option to exit these investments and minimize his losses. The third kind of investment is high risk investments, where the fluctuation of the principal amount and the returns are usually very high. These are the kind of investments where you can earn a lot of money in a single day, but you can also lose a lot of money in the same day. The next kind of investments are the super high risk investments. These are in the nature of cryptocurrency and non-fungible tokens. These investments fluctuate very heavily within a short span of time, and it is not even sure whether these are just paper investments or really carry some value. So whenever you are making an investment decisions, it is critical to evaluate under which category does the instrument fall, and based on your risk appetite you have to make the decision for investments. The second aspect or the other aspect of investments that you need to know is about diversification of your investments. Here the mantra is simple, that do not put all eggs in one basket. All of us have heard many stories where people invest all their money in single instrument and lose the entire savings. Therefore, irrespective of how big the promised returns are, never invest all your money into a single type of instrument. You need to always spread your investments into different buckets with different risk profiles. As you can see from this chart, while a person in his 20s and 30s can go for 100% investment in high risk instruments like equity in the stock market, a middle-aged person would be better off investing in balanced instrument, that is, which offers a combination of low risk and high risk investments. And a retired person should be defensive with largely investment in low risk instruments. This brings us to the end of part 1. Hope you have had a clear understanding of the basic concepts of finance. Now we shall progress to part 2 of this course.